We're at the Kentucky Derby Saturday. All the talk about Forte as the favorite. The story we enjoyed doing last week on Eric Reed and Rich Strike, last year's Derby winner, coming back to the track to race on Friday. But with all the stories of people celebrating, there's also stories of people who are crying and very upset. 4 horses have been euthanized at Churchill Downs in the last week. Not a very good backdrop as we move into the Derby. Your take on what we've seen?
Well, we've covered this for a long time. This is a dangerous sport. It has always been a dangerous sport. You tend to forget that in the euphoria of Kentucky Derbies and big wins, but it always comes back to remind you Churchill Downs has had the misfortune of 4 horse deaths in a very short time, and maybe more. They're running, today at Churchill Downs. We don't know what's happened. The track was moved to respond finally after 4 of these fatalities. They know that to remain in the forefront of the safety movement, which they have been over the last year, they're going to have to get out and speak and be proactive. And I think they're going to have to do a lot more of that now with Derby week here and this moving in to the central position of discussion.
Yeah, you're right. Transparency is the answer. As you mentioned, we've covered horse racing for a long time. One of the worst afternoons I've ever had cover horse racing was at the Belmont during the Breeders' Cup. I believe it was 1992 when Go for Wand, a fantastic filly, broke down in the stretch. And it was one of 3 horses that died that day. As you know, this has happened. Barbaro, 8 Bells, we can all give you a long list of horses who've suffered catastrophic injuries on the track. And the best way for the track and the horsemen to deal with this is transparency. We know that a couple of the horses that died at Churchill Downs were from skeletal issues, broken bones. It's happened in racing for as long as we've covered it, but a couple of them weren't. And so what we need to have is full transparency, and in terms of after these horses are examined, to be announced to the public what really happened. Was it a medication issue? And we do know that Churchill has been at the forefront of trying to reduce medication issues in racing, and they need to continue that push. We'll have more coverage here at WDRB and WDRB.com. Just click on sports.